Hey guys, this is a really short video about kind of relativity and Einstein's theory of relativity. Basically, saying that everything's relative because everything's one. So whenever you look at something in a place of separation, it's always pointing you to the fact that that's just relative because everything is coming from the same place. So E equals mc squared, we've been using that for years, but it actually it kind of falls apart under certain circumstances because in the quantum space, everything is connected instantaneously. So the speed of light breaks down, mass breaks down, right? That means that does that mean that there's no energy? Or is there an infinite amount of energy? Is there zero energy? I don't know, we'll talk about that and see what you guys think. So the equation to find mass is pretty simple, right? The g is a variable, and it depends on where you're at in the field that you're measuring mass from. So for example, you're going to weigh slightly different at the equator versus at the North or South Pole because you're in a different place in the field, and you're actually a different distance from the center of the Earth. Your center is going to be actually a different distance from the center of the Earth. So not only that, but you're in a field. So I like to think of the equation for gravity is the equation for unconditional love, because every structure is being attracted towards every other structure. That's what this equation is telling us, right? There is a force that is pulling any piece that looks like matter or structure towards one another, and it's all relative, right? If you were to measure how much you're being attracted towards Jupiter, it's depending on the distance, plus it depends on if you're in another field, so every other object in space-time is actually pulling you towards it, but it's relative to how many other forces are pulling on you, and everything equals zero. When we look at the big, if you go out and out and out, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger toroidal fields, and everything is just pulling back to the center. So in reality, everything is just trying to get back to the 0 point. So we could say that E equals mc squared is a representation that since the speed of light is relative to where you're at in time space, that everything kind of just zeroes each other out. And everything is trying to move back to zero. When you look at a spiral galaxy, everything is coming back to the center. It goes out and then comes back to the center. Yeah, that's what everything's doing, right? That's what karma is, right? What you're putting out there comes back to you because everything is zeroing each other out. You can't impact your atmosphere or the people around you or anything out there with your thoughts, speaking, anything without that coming back to you and canceling itself out, right? If you keep positive thoughts and positive emotions and positive outlook, it creates positivity in your life. And then, depending on where you're at in your journey, if you're at over 50% negativity, then you're going to experience over 50% negativity in your life, and vice versa. So obviously, the goal is just to heal yourself completely and make sure that you are 100% positive all the time. Very hard to do, but it's part of the healing process, right? And a positive ion will penetrate pretty much anything, right? Because atoms, when you look at them, they've got a negative sphere around them. So it's an awareness that is over 50% negative. And that's why this three-dimensional reality, light slows down because there's less energy. Energy is traveling slower between each awareness. As you move into higher dimensions, energy speeds up, and so the polarity swaps more towards positive. And then once it's, if it's 100% positive, then you're right in one consciousness all the time because you're at one with everything. You're never resisting anything at any time. So all of us are cycling towards that in this evolutionary process. I kind of went on a tangent there, right? But I mean, what I'm trying to portray here is that these mathematical equations are still telling us about the state of reality, and it's not really being taught this way, right? It's not being, you know, nobody says that the gravity is the equation for unconditional love, but it kind of is, right? I mean, everybody's drawn towards each other in some way, and we're all interacting each other and expending energy towards each other. Every object in the universe is. There is no perfect insulator. So I'd like you guys to think about that for a little while, and how everything is relative, and how equals mc squared talks a lot about how frequency creates structure that holds a specific amount of energy, and it's not letting it go, right? Which creates inertia. You know, if it let go of all that energy, then it would kind of dissipate. If something lets go of all of its energy, the structure breaks down, and then it just completely dissipates. So if you're a perfect conductor and all you're doing is just moving all your energy, and you're not keeping any energy internally, then you're kind of living a life of zero inertia, which is what everybody's, you know, that's the optimum state to be in. That means that everything that you're receiving, you're giving, and vice versa. As you're giving, you're receiving, and you're just kind of in the flow, right? So have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys in the next reality series video.